Okay, it appears we are live. So, Peter, if you want to refresh.
Refreshing. So refreshing.
It is refreshing. It's refreshing to be here, streaming live.
I got it. Here
successfully from Luzhou, Sichuan, China.
Transmitting. There you are.
Surprise, we're live.
Successfully from the past. Shutting down the volume.
Yeah, okay. So your sound is off?
Yep.
Hello, welcome to Uncle Foreigner's semi-weekly live stream. I am Emily, and in the background we have Peter. We are streaming, as I said, from Luzhou, Sichuan, China. So it's Saturday evening here in
Saturday evening.
Saturday evening. I hope you're having a good time wherever you are. Because we are too.
Yep.
So let's see. It looks like all systems are go. I've got sound going. You've got.
Yep, I'm looking at you.
You've got that going.
We're both watching each other.
I've got water going.
I'm watching you, watching you, watching you.
Yeah, there's too many me faces. I wonder if I shut this down, if the stream will stop. I'm gonna try that.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Oh.
Did anything happen?
You're moving. No, you're showing me water is what you're showing me.
Okay, so the stream is still healthy even if I shut mine down, which means we should have a better streaming speed, I think.
Oh, you just actually got a lot clearer.
Technology. I'm figuring it out. Likewise, my voice should sound normally pitched.
Should I check?
No, don't check. We'll check that after. That'll be a surprise for us.
Okay.
But are we ready to hit the opening, you think?
Transmitting from China, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, foreigners, wherever you are. This is Hello Uncle Foreigner, transmitting live from China. This week was a big week for us. I finally recovered from my cold, so that was good. I was back in the land of the living and not sleeping all the time. It was the last week of school. We had graduation this morning, actually. Kindergarten graduation. It was lovely.
You've already posted on Instagram.
Yeah, you can check out our Instagram. There's some shots of the babies. It was just what you'd think a kindergarten graduation would be. They all got little rolls of paper that had their picture on inside, and they told their parents they loved them. They recited some poetry. A professional announcer told them wonderful things. So maybe it was a very Chinese kindergarten graduation. But the funniest thing to me at the end of it, everyone, teachers and students alike, realized, like, this is it. This is the last hurrah. We are all together for one last time. And we are very sad about that. Everyone started crying like a lot. And so we had a reception line by the exit, all the teachers by the exit door. And then the students would come and say goodbye and take one last picture and leave kindergarten. I joked that they were so upset because they know that elementary school is going to be rough. Chinese education is very strenuous.
Uphill from here.
Uphill from here. They're 6 years old, so it's time to start thinking about the Gaokao, which is an insane college entrance test.
And then marriage.
And then, buy a house and marry someone and have a baby. The circle of life. But anyway, so these kids were just like bawling and then, giving me hugs, and it was so much crying, and it was like a really weird end to what had been like a really celebratory event, and then just like, oh, we're all very sad. Sorry, kids, it was funny to your heartless teacher.
Oh, and you all live in the same neighborhood.
Oh yeah, we all like live on the same 3 blocks. I see them all the time, like walking around or in the grocery store or in the park. So it is like, yeah, it's never going to be the same. You're never going to have the same 40 kids in a room again. And the teachers and students are not going to get to keep that close bond anymore. But they are going to get to see each other again.
They may have already seen each other.
Yeah. But it is in Chinese school. I'm going to turn the sound down just a little. In Chinese school, you don't get a new teacher every year. Your teacher moves through your classes with you. So this teacher had been with these kids for like three or 4 years, some of them, from 2 years old. So it is like, that's a pretty moving thing to see your kid move on, and as a kid to realize, like, you're at school, what, 8 to 5:30. It's more than a full-time job. You probably see that teacher as much as your parents, or maybe even more. So yeah, I do understand why it was so emotional. It just, the timing of it being like a celebratory event, oh no, everyone's crying, seemed funny to me. I sound so heartless, but it was funny. You have to trust me on this. But so that's what I did this morning. What else happened this week? We put up the name video, which if you check out 𝗖𝗵cie_his𝗴𝗾.com, the blog, which I recently made an HTTPS. So Google won't give me that X mark anymore. I get the green lock if you go to our website, our blog, 𝗖𝗵cie_his𝗴𝗾.com. I explain a little bit about the making of the name video, which originally I had only intended to be 2 different parts. Me talking about naming kids, and then me talking about my own English name. And it was kind of not an afterthought, because obviously I think about names a lot. I had a lot to say. I had 20 minutes to say about it.
A lot of names.
Yeah, I had a lot of thoughts about names, and so Peter had been encouraging me to just film yourself talking on the way home, see what comes up, and so that's how this video came about. I did it one day on my way home from school. I showed Peter what I got, and he said, let's do that a couple more times. You have a couple more. My coworker knows where we live, and he said they looked at an apartment in our complex, and he's like, isn't it swampy? Because it is, there's a lot of trees in it, and they have like ponds on the grounds. Frogs and like water features. And it is landscaped in a way that it feels like you're in a forest a little bit, which I think is kind of nice. But it wasn't to his taste, so he moved somewhere else.
There's a lot of nice shady areas for the old men and their birds.
Yeah, it's like a nice place to be, which is not a given in Chinese cities. It's not always, the city's not always designed with comfort or human interaction in mind, but our housing complex, I think, is very nice. And so in the video, I'm walking basically the one stretch between the block between my apartment and work, and I wanted to get some different scenery in there, so I just like walked around our apartment complex, which is a whole city block, so it's pretty big. But yeah, so that you can see all around where we live if you want to come stalk us in China.
And we're at the top of the hill, really.
Yeah, so you're safe from rats and
Rats.
flooding. Well, actually, the rats will come up here if there is a flood, but we're on the 28th floor, so I think we're okay.
Top of the city.
I rode an elevator with a fly today.
Jeff Goldblum?
Maybe. He didn't introduce himself. But I always think it's funny when a fly gets in an elevator or on a bus. Like, that's not where they intended to end up.
Or is it?
Do they have thoughts when they get off? Like they just moved to the other side of the world?
I thought this was the 27th floor.
Do they even know? Do they even know their entire world has changed?
No, just fly back down.
I guess get back on the elevator.
Or just right off the cliff.
Get off the bus. Or, yeah, take the
air.
The short way down. The air.
Must be nice to fly.
Yeah. I'd like to fly, I think. Although I'm physically quite trepidatious, so I don't know. I'd probably fly like a foot off the ground. I don't think I'd go very high.
You're more of a hover.
A hoverer. Yeah. What else? We didn't put up an Uncle Shorts this week because I was sick, but we did some major planning for the next couple weeks.
A lot of behind the scenes work.
Yeah, a lot of behind the scenes work this week. We are preparing for Uncle Foreigner, but I am also preparing volunteer is not the right word because it is still a job. I still get paid, but I signed up to do summer camp for the next month, which is going to be all day hanging out and playing with babies instead of during the school year. I teach a 20 to 40 minute class a couple times a day, but this will be I'm hanging out with kids all day, so that should be interesting, but it will take away from my filmmaking time.
Mr. DeMille.
But so we've come up with some ideas that are low production but high creativity and interest for the next couple weeks. I think we're pretty excited.
We're dipping back into the archives.
Yeah. So we have, it's fun to go back into our archives because we have now 7 years of experience to say about these images that at the time it felt like we could describe what was happening in the image and that was kind of it. But now we can kind of make larger connections. So I think we have an interesting point of view that you don't get everywhere else.
We've been documenting for blogs, but video started to come along at some point. Now we can go back and tell those stories with moving pictures.
Yeah, we our whole process keeps growing, keeps upgrading.
So check out the webpage, the blog.
Yeah, that blog again, hellouncleforeigner.com.
If anyone still reads.
If anyone still reads. If you have been a long-time reader, you may notice some small changes, but we're working right now on research, getting people to come to the website and stay on the website, because we have, as I've learned from my Google Analytics, we have good search results. We come up a lot in searches, but we have a high bounce rate. So we want to keep those eyeballs, but that's getting a little bit in the weeds. That's not quite so interesting. So the topic, our preview topic for next week, we're going to talk a little bit about the Chinese countryside. So stay tuned Thursday to see what that's all about. We're pretty excited.
There's goats. There will be goats.
There will be goats. We can
promise
you that. The other big behind the scenes news is, so Uncle Shorts come to us through a variety of ways. Some are just on the spot conversations Peter and I are having, or thoughts that I've had or Peter's had. And some are anecdotes that I've kind of held on to for a long time. Not a long time. We've only been doing this 6 months, but for a little while. Until some detail falls into place. Or like with names, I had the two of those Chinese names and English names on the board as two separate topics for a while, because I've been thinking about it for a while, and then they just came together and gelled. But today we went through and we said a not permanent, but for now, goodbye to these Uncle Foreigner topics. So they're pieces of stories that I like enough. I want to share them with you as the rejected topics, but they're
not good enough for prime time.
Yeah, they're not ready. They're not ready to be their whole own thing. So the first.
So hold on to your socks.
So this is gonna be exciting, guys. The first one is a little story about the pharmacy near our house. The people in the pharmacy and the people in the grocery store really know us quite well, and they've actually seen Peter get sick and recover, and they're always asking about him. They're always asking about him, but they are all nice to me too. But so I was going to pick up some medicine for Peter at the pharmacy the other day, and I brought in, the old boxes so they could give me the right stuff. And one of them, they were like, "Oh, we don't have this in this store, but we'll make some calls. We'll find another branch, and by this evening, we should have it for you, and we'll give you a call." And then I went by after work, and they did, in fact, have the medicine, and they had rung it up, and I just paid. And that's what you do at a pharmacy. This is why this is not an Uncle Shorts. You are right.
Well, there's a pharmacy every other store.
Yeah. But so the upshot is, this is something that is just, to me, felt like this is no longer, living in China is no longer some weird exotic adventure. Living in China is now, the people at the pharmacy know me and my husband and will order the drug we need and get it to us that evening. They did have the wrong phone number for me because they said we called and then it wasn't you. No, so I have to give them an updated phone number. But it just...
I wonder what that sounded like.
Yeah.
Well, it must have been a Chinese person.
Yeah. Well, I got a phone call the other night that was a wrong number, and so I answered in English. I said hello, and they started talking, and I didn't understand them because they were talking really fast. And so I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, my Chinese is not that good. 我说的中文说的不好." And the guy immediately was like, oh, this is the wrong number. So maybe the pharmacy had the opposite reaction.
Speak English.
This is a person whose Chinese is way too good. That's not Emily. But anyway, it was the feeling of that day was like, it's nice to feel like this is our neighborhood and we are part of it and people know us and help us and
Norm.
Yeah, we're normal. We're normal. Finally.
Cheaters.
Norm. So
Is that why his name is Norm? Because he's just so normal that he's there at the...
He's the everyman? Probably. I'm going to say yes. Yes. That's the origin of Norm. Normcore. So I guess Peter was right. That didn't deserve to be an Uncle Shorts. The second one is not rejected for story, but for technical reasons. But I'll share this anecdote because it is really cute. At school, they have for the kids in the bathroom. The bathroom is 4 rows of tiny Western toilets. 22 Western toilets all in 4 rows. I would take a picture, except it's the bathroom and that feels invasive and
pedophilic.
Yeah, it doesn't feel right, but it is just... So picture in your head a Western toilet and then shrink it down to dollhouse size. and then put 22 of them in 4 separate rows. And then, so 2 rows are the girl side, there's a wall in the middle, and 2 rows are the boy side. And for the kids, in general in China, there's like a little less expectation of privacy in the bathroom. Like I've been in bus stop bathrooms or even college bathrooms. We've been in bathrooms all over the place that it's like, it's not private. It's not what you would expect. Sometimes there's like a half wall divider, but it's basically like, it's just open. So I don't know, for the kids, there's the added element of like, they're so young that maybe it's easier to keep an eye on them because they might get into bathroom trouble. I'm not sure. It's open.
You've seen bathroom trouble. You know what that is.
Yeah. And then behind the kids' baby potties, there's normal cubicles for the adults to use. We don't have to use the tiny open potties. And I think it's kind of a more modern China thing to have like Western style privacy in the bathroom, because it's always only in older buildings that I've seen these bathrooms that, I don't know if I want to describe them to you, but they're a shock for a sensitive Western peer. But anyway, so I set this up for you so you know. So you try to picture this in your mind. So you got tiny potties in the front, all open. The rows are facing each other. So actually going to the bathroom, it's like kind of a social time. And then the private adult bathrooms are behind that. So you have to walk through where the babies are peeing to pee yourself. And actually, they have times of the day that it's like, this is time to use the bathroom. So they all line up and then go. And it's like, it's the best thing. And I wish you could see it, but I'm not taking pictures of that and showing that to you. You have to get a job in a Chinese kindergarten so you can see this sight.
Highly recommended.
But don't say that's why you want the job in your interview, because that'll get you bounced. So anyway, potties, adult stalls, and this is not during a normal potty break, but the kids are allowed to go when they have to go. So more so, I think, even than in America, the Chinese really think it's harmful to ask kids to hold it, so that if they say they have to go, they're allowed to just go. So there are 3 girls, one on this side and then 1, 2 next to each other on this side, and they're kind of chatting away and doing their business, and I walk through and I go into the stall in the back, and then I hear one of the girls say to the other 2, says, 轻轻摸的, 轻轻摸的, which I know from my classes is like touch gently, because this is why I know this, because I show them flashcards and they touch it. They're allowed to touch it because I want them to interact with the image, but sometimes they like hit it, and so instead of saying no hitting, we put it as a positive of like touch it gently. So I hear them saying this while I'm in the bathroom. Okay, what's going on? And then I come out, and the one girl on this side over here is just wailing on the other girl, whacking her in the head, and the girl across from her is just going, 轻轻摸的, 轻轻摸的, hit her, touch her nicely, touch her gently, be gentle. And it just, I love that they're having a fight on the toilet and she's trying to keep the peace between them. And it was just the funniest thing. But illustrating that story was a challenge. We have an idea, but right now it's beyond our technical capabilities. But I just wanted to get that story out there because it's hilarious. And I wanted to talk about baby bathrooms for a while. I thought that was really important that you hear about that.
Gently.
Yeah, and then the third rejected Uncle Shorts was talking about pants shopping, which the upshot is I hate pants shopping.
Wow.
Dun, 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 dun. I rejected that one myself because I had nothing else to say about it. So.
That's how much you hate pants.
That's how much I hate pants and pants shopping.
What about shirt shopping?
Shirt shopping is okay, especially at the Nike store. We buy all our clothes at sports shops now because they somehow have the biggest sizes.
Well, style-wise, they're the most general.
Yeah, I guess the Chinese style is very not ours. It's very
You don't have like sweaters
finicky and
with owls sticking off them.
Yeah, and like for women, it's always lots of bows and it's like a collage on a dress.
Although it's getting more casual, I think. I think that t-shirt sensibility, like if you go into H&M is always busy, right?
Yeah, but that's H&M. Other stores are still...
When we moved here, they didn't have that. Now there's a lot more women walking around in just kind of casual t-shirts and...
That's true. The
Iron Maiden
style of dress has gotten a lot more casual. But I did overhear a kid ask his mom if I was a girl or a boy the other day.
Because of your t-shirt choice?
Yeah, and then I looked around and every woman in sight was wearing either a dress or something like incredibly tailored and girly. And I was wearing a t-shirt and...
Where were you?
Just outside the school.
Oh.
I think... It might be for summer too that it just is like all the women are in dresses. And I don't have a problem with dresses. Although for teaching, I basically wear like sportswear because
you're running around.
I'm running around with the babies. I'm not going to dress nice for that. I dress nice for very little anymore. I dress nice for graduation though. I wore a dress. I think they appreciated that. If they noticed through their tears.
It's very emotional.
Yeah. The other big news this week is we're making another social media push. If you're our Instagram follower, I guess they're followers on that site, you may have noticed we've gotten a lot more active in the past week or so. And we started a Twitter. So you can look for hello_uncle. That's us on Twitter. I maybe said this last week, but we're on the Twitter.
We've even seeped into Reddit.
Yeah, we've stumbled into Reddit on the subreddit China Vloggers. You can find us there. That's where we are on the internet.
That's all of our places.
That's all of our places. I mean, yeah, we've got a Tumblr that we don't.
You're not tumbling anymore.
Well, I'm kind of tumbling, but it's something as a community that I think there's a specific way to use it, and I don't think we've ever used it in the right way.
Is the Tumblr organized by cats?
I think the Tumblr is organized by cats, and I am allergic to cats. So that's an issue. And there's always our Facebook. You can find us on Facebook. It's an exciting time to be alive.
Socially mobile.
Socially mobile.
We only had a hashtag.
Yeah, well, hashing is like a computer science term. So I studied how to make a hash table way back when I was a undergraduate, and now it's like that's the thing that blew up. I don't think that people know that but that's like a thing. It's a way to organize information, and that's why we use a hashtag. I'm pretty sure that's why. If I'm wrong, let me know. Internet, if you know differently.
Hashtag tell me what's right.
Tell us in the comments. Over there, or over there, or over there.
Hashtag tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Stir up controversy. What are things we hate? Pants.
I don't hate hashtags.
And pants.
I don't hate pants. I hate shopping for pants.
So take that, internet.
Take that, internet. Go shop for your own pants.
Birds' legs. Stupid. Look at them.
Yeah, I don't love birds. I like the bird that lives outside our window, but just mostly because it hasn't tried to come in.
Do you think it's a whole family?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, they're good neighbors.
That's all I have to say about that. They are. They have like nice bird song. That's something, again, about our complex here. The outside China is loud. The traffic is always really loud, but all the trees do have the effect of, like, when you're walking around inside the complex, it's a little bit quieter and you can hear like bird song. And right now Cicada Jones is singing his song. Cicadas are all over Luzhou and they are so loud.
It's the jam.
It is the jam. I don't know if you have cicadas where you live, foreigners, but they can be loud.
Some do. They're in different spots of America. They get pretty loud.
Tell us in the comments if you have cicadas. Hashtag cicadas.
Oh, I can't spell that.
Ciudades. Hashtag learn Spanish.
Cicadas are Spanish. What are other Spanish bugs?
La cucaracha.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. That's all I got. I can't think of any. I did know how to say bug names in Spanish, but now I...
How about any China bugs?
Yeah. Mi Feng is bee. And it...
The producer of delicious honey.
I know ant, but I can't think of it right now. Because I'm reverse engineering some of the vocabulary from my lessons, because I present it and then my assistant says it in Chinese for the kids to make sure they can tell from the picture what it actually is. Sometimes the pictures are ambiguous.
Sometimes they're bees.
Sometimes they're bees. I mean, they know what a bee is, but so I get to learn Chinese too.
So what else? Any news around the world?
No, I heard everyone's happy and pretty much pieces everywhere, I think, right?
Pieces.
Pieces. Reese's Pieces.
Everyone's getting along.
Yeah. I think that no one is mistreating children. No one's fighting about that it's fine to mistreat children. It's all good.
Everyone's got good hair.
I've got good hair. This humidity actually is killing my hair. Or enlivening it, I guess.
Action-packed.
It's action-packed hair. You've got a good head of hair.
Do I?
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Because you're a vampire and you don't show up in a mirror.
Can't see my head.
The truth is, it's time you all knew this, is Peter is actually invisible. He only exists in my imagination. That's my fear sometimes, is that Peter is a figment of my imagination.
I'm locked in the basement.
It's a very real neuroses I've just shared with the internet.
I'm tied up just out of reach out of a stack of pies.
Who put pies in basement? So what else?
Well,
What are we...
I'm watching The Past right now. There, you just drank a glass of water. That was nice. Those are good times.
Those are good times. I think I'll do it again.
Ooh.
It's my past and my future.
It's a replay. Double play.
Tomorrow I've got to go set up for camp, and then I'm going to write all afternoon. And then I think I have to go advertise for the school.
Oh, the glow sticks.
Yeah, I get to hand out glow sticks. Sweet. As advertisements to join our school.
Hopefully you can bring one home.
Yeah. Peter has requested some swag. I remember when we used to go, glow necklaces were a big thing when I was a kid. And like, I remember we went to the circus.
Glow necklace?
Like, it's a glow stick, but it's bendy, so it's a necklace, so you can wear it.
Oh, right.
And
like it's like one thin, bendy one.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
like a little latch.
And if you put it in the freezer, the glow lasts longer, I think. I mean, we put them in the freezer for that reason. And then after a while, we were just wearing around pieces of plastic tubing as a necklace. But we thought glow stick necklaces were the best when we were kids.
They're still the best.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good. Another circus thing I remember. This was just an amazing thing that we bought as a circus souvenir. That it was like a bunch of little, like fiber optic plastic.
Or like on a wand.
Yeah, and like a big frizzy thing. And so you had the light sprinkling at the top. It was magical.
Battery operated.
Yeah. I mean, the circus was fun too.
Was it?
Well, we went to the Barnum and Bailey circus. The real circus.
New Yorkers.
Yeah.
Did they have goats?
I don't think they had goats, so marks down on them.
Stay tuned Thursday for Lou Joe goats.
Lou Joe goats. Not in a circus.
I
don't want to see a Lou Joe circus. Goats or no goats.
We saw the zoo. That was bad enough.
The zoo is not a happy place. For some of the kids, I taught a lesson when I was teaching older kids on like places around town. So you'd learn like park, school, office building, police station, and zoo was one of them. And so the kind of free conversation was talk about the buildings and institutions in your town. And so I'd ask the kids, like, is there a library in Lujo? Yeah, where is it? And then we'd talk about directions. Excuse me. But I'd ask them if there was a zoo, and they'd say no, because I don't think a lot of people know about the Lujo Zoo, but it's a depressing affair. And one kid was like,
secret.
One kid had been to the zoo, and he was like, yeah, there is. Don't go there. It's everything wrong with the zoo that you'd think could be wrong with the zoo. The cages were too small.
We had a deflated camel.
The camel was deflated. Camels are jerks, though. They deserve to be deflated. I got to ride an elephant when I was a kid. I don't remember the circumstances of why, but there was like...
Were you escaping something?
Yeah, on the run. And an elephant was my vehicle of choice. No, there was like an elephant in town. Elephant rides. I think it was in Southampton, so we had to like go the town over.
A beach elephant?
It was not on the beach. I don't think it would have liked the beach. My dog didn't like the beach.
Did you ever ride your dog?
No, because my dog was too little. She was like a trip over sized dog, maybe that big. But that's also, I think, why she didn't like the beach so much, because her face was so close to the sand. The sand is also why I don't like the beach. I don't like it on your feet, in your book, on your towel, on your dog. Yeah, I was with the dog. Hey guys, let's stay in the pool. She didn't like the pool though. She didn't like water.
Was her name Ottoman?
Yes. Why Ottoman?
So close to the ground to trip over, you said.
Oh, like a piece of furniture.
Yeah.
I was thinking like the Empire. She did have like the attitude of an empress. She's the Ottoman Empress. But she didn't like water. Some dogs like water.
Well, dogs with short legs can't really get into a good stride.
No, she did. My mom would always take her in the pool once a season to like...
Out of hate?
No, in case she fell in the pool. So she should train her and show her where the stairs were, so she wouldn't
that would be horrible to
rip up the pool lining or drown. I think was the reason. But yeah, she did have she had the definition of a doggy paddle.
Sausage legs.
She fell in the duck pond a couple times, or once. I don't know. I have a good memory for numbers and things,
But not ducks and dogs.
but not like events that happened to me in my life. They kind of all get jumbled.
Remember when you were 12?
No,
But you remember 12.
I do remember the number 12. It's a multiple of 3 and 4, or 2 and 6, or 1 and 12.
Those were your pets.
Yeah. Numbers were my pets. I had a math thing. Oh! I was gonna... Oh, never mind. This is for an upcoming story. So stay tuned. I have something to say about math in a future video that's undefined.
We can't give the date on it
I
because
don't-
it's a number.
Yeah, I don't want to give any numbers away. Not 1, not 2. Not Euler's number.
What about letters? What are your favorite letters?
I don't really have a favorite letter. I never thought about it. People don't pick lucky letters. Unless you have synesthesia. Do you have synesthesia with letters?
No. I did have a student once whose name was A, and he had a t-shirt that was just a giant letter A.
Oh yeah, I remember that kid. But A is like an obvious letter to pick. Here's a letter-related anecdote. The thing about playing... So Hangman is a great game to play because it teaches kids to think about words as a collection of letters rather than... Hangman is a great game to play in English class. It's like a okay game to play in life.
I think a lot of Chinese English teachers play it
Yeah.
all around the country.
Because it's educational and it takes up a lot of time. But because they don't... Well, this is for my students who are at that level, it's also a good tool to teach about letter frequency in English because they always guess X and Q because that's actually really common in Chinese pinyin. So they're always guessing like X, Q, Z, all the letters that we actually don't use that often. And then, so I did have one class that was like really into it and really into kind of figuring out letter frequency. And so I told them like the Wheel of Fortune grouping of R, S, T, L, N, E are the most frequently used letters in English. So I would they caught on, and so they'd always guess those letters first. They were a fun class.
So the X-Men must be really like average. It's like Sam Min or Bill Min.
Oh yeah, in Chinese, the X is nothing special.
Not very cool.
Not extraordinary.
Common guys.
Yeah, they are but a common group of mutants.
Z's pretty cool.
Z's a good letter.
No matter what.
Especially because in England and the Commonwealths, it's pronounced Zed. You can sound pretentious as an American if you do that.
Especially if you're talking about zombies. You're fighting Zeds.
Yeah, I don't watch that one. I think I like E though, because it's my letter. For me.
E.
The only Emily. I've never been the only Emily, even in one room.
Hashtag one Emily.
Hashtag there can only be one. Emily, no, I'm coming for you.
Well, what else we have?
What else do we have? I went back to the gym. I took some time off when I was sick, and then I came back and they were like, you haven't been here in a while. Which is like, I can't tell if it's just not that popular a gym or I'm pretty obvious when I come and go. But I haven't been able to go to my yoga class. And I won't be able to because summer camp is scheduled at a different time.
Can you teach the babies yoga?
I probably could. I'm allowed to do kind of whatever I want. Maybe we'll learn yoga instead of English. We'll learn yoga English. That's like all the rage in English teaching. In foreign language teaching is actually multidisciplinary teaching in your target language. So,
and who doesn't want yoga babies?
Yoga babies. They're so flexible already.
Yeah, they'd be great at it. You could stack them up like Jenga. All of the kids, because this is common in China, for even kindergarten kids take extracurricular classes. And so they take English or they take some kind of martial art and maybe gymnastics, but I think the kids come in and show me that they can do full-on splits. And I think it is the kids who do martial arts that can do the splits. Without their knees?
Yeah, because babies don't have knees. No, but they can do it like real deal, a split. But then like another kid will be like, watch me, I can do it too. And they'll be like, see, I can do it.
No credit.
No credit. Not if the other kid's doing it all the way. You don't get credit for doing it like mostly. I can do it mostly. And I'm old. A kid didn't throw up this week in class, but like kind of burped up.
It's nice.
So that's...
Was it after lunch?
It was after dinner.
Dinner?
Yeah, because I teach
It was one of those late night
evening classes. Yeah. Yeah, it was just a little...
Could you tell what he had for dinner?
No, because it was just like spit. A lot of spit. And that's the explanation report for this week. A kid in that class also said, "Oh, well, 不舒服, I don't feel well." But he's not the one that spit up. I had my eye on him. And then it was another kid. And that's all the news of regurgitation this week. I believe Mr. Finger there is telling you to subscribe to Hello Uncle Foreigner if you haven't already. We have 31 lovely subscribers already. But we're always looking for more.
A few good subscribers.
A few good subscribers. This is stories of my student this week, but here's one more because it is hilarious. I don't want to oversell it. It's funny.
Best thing that's ever going to happen to you.
It broke up the monotony of being alive. I have a student, Flora, who's very energetic, but also very quick study. So I like her. If you're good at English, I like you, even if you're hyperactive. And one of the phrases I taught them to use is, I want blah, blah, blah. I want, and we use it for crayons. So they say, I want red. And then this past couple weeks, I've been teaching them please. And so I'm always like, Flora, sit in your chair. And she's like, ah, and then doesn't sit in her chair. And then the assistant has to come over and like hold her down in the chair. It's a fun game. But so she taxes my patience a little. But when we do, I want crayon, she always goes, I want green. Please. Just like that. And she's 4, so it's like way adorable. And she knows already how to be adorable enough that she can get away with being a little bit of a raucous rocker.
The adults gather around to watch her do it, don't they?
Yes, her class, the parents wait outside while they have class, and there's giant windows in the classroom, so they all are like up at the window because the parents are not allowed in the classroom, which I am very thankful for that as a rule because the parents are a lot. But anyway, so they'll be up on the window, and so she says, I want blue. Please.
She knows to put on a show.
And the parents all the adults within radius laughed, and so now she does it every time. But I still enjoy it, so it's fine. As a teacher, I'm torn because I like, when things are orderly and smooth, but I also enjoy the kids who stir up the trouble. Clever trouble. I don't like random hitting or I have another boy who just, if I show him a flashcard and I say orange, he just says, and I don't like that kid. But if you run around and jump over the furniture and then repeat back to me perfect English what I just said, I don't know. What am I going to do? Tell you to stop running? It seems to be working for you. And it's more fun. Chaos is more fun. That's why I live in China. That's the reason.
Well, it's always nice on backup if you have an assistant to restrain children in their chairs, too.
Yeah, they don't restrain them. They gently remind them to stay in the seat. But it is a luxury. I do get to be total good cop, and she has to be the bad cop. I did tell her.
What is that? Hit them gently?
Hit them gently. Oh, yeah. 轻轻摸的. Be gentle. I did tell her she doesn't have to be quite so bad cop. Because she was giving the kids, full-on lectures in Chinese. And then she, for her part, she was like, oh, good, I don't really like yelling at the kids like that, but, I wanted you to be happy. I was like, well, I'll be happy if you stop yelling at the kids so much. And it worked out. It all worked out. I'm
babies,
learning to be a boss.
babies love lectures.
Babies love lectures. It's a well-known fact.
Taking notes.
But did anything non-baby happen this week? You didn't leave the house.
No.
You're walking more though again.
Yeah, moving around, shucking, jiving.
Cleaning the dishes. Please.
We lost Steve Ditko today. On the sad news.
That's
Spidey hands.
I don't know a lot about this, so.
Wow.
But death is natural.
Yeah, he was 90 years old.
It's a good long life.
If you helped create Spider-Man, you can go at any time.
And yeah.
So you covered what you're doing tomorrow. You have a full week of work?
Yeah, extra, because I have to go in on Sunday tomorrow, and then I have
Summer class?
summer class.
Does that take place anywhere special? You're not in the woods or anything?
No, it's mostly in a classroom, but I think we do have like field trips and. Oh, geez, I think I might have to lead field trips. I don't know.
Take them to the monastery?
I may have a lot of stories next week about kids again, but yeah, we might have to go hiking up the mountain. Well,
that'd be wild.
I told you, Peter, not you, the audience. We had a fun run as an activity with the kids that was actually like a 2.5 kilometer run, which I didn't know how long it was at the beginning. So I was just like, when is this over? Keep going, but when is this over? Also, I was competitive, so I didn't want to get beat by too many kids. I didn't come in first because that also didn't look good, but I let like 5 kids
knocking babies in the brush
go in front of me. Well, like there's 5 kids who are really fast, and then the rest of the kids don't care. So I was pretty comfortably like 6th place. 6th place in the baby race.
Well,
that's what I wanted to. We do have local news. Local news. The Italian restaurant that did make really good pizza closed down, which was not too much of a surprise. It had been open almost a year, I think. And every time...
Surprised it was open a year.
Yeah, every time we went in there, it was empty. And every time...
Not because it was bad.
Not because it was delicious food. Their cook was really good.
It's a real meatball.
Yeah, and our Italian friend even gave it the authentic thumbs up. But they just did not do the business. It was expensive, I think, for Lujo standards.
That creepy, weird section of the mall, too.
Yeah, it was not like a nice...
Mall Paschetti.
It was not a nice place to be. So Peter and I definitely did not do our part. We could have gone there more, except it was expensive, far away, and then like terrible ambiance. But the rumor is that there is a different new Italian restaurant in the new mall across the river. So we'll have to check that out someday soon.
And we'll bring that news straight to you.
You can know all about the Italian food that's available in Luzhou, Sichuan, China.
Perhaps variant cheese, if we're lucky.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get cheese varieties going. Well, I was listening to the podcast Gastropod, which, if you're interested in food and history and the history of food, it's a really well-researched, interesting show.
Not affiliated.
not affiliated. I'm just a fan. That's all I'm saying here. And they were talking about dairy and dairy products, and it turns out in the U.S., I never thought about it, but that most dairy is locally produced. We haven't centralized it in the same way we centralize other produce and crops. Which, like, now I think about it, like, I was always buying, like, New York State cheddar when I lived in New York. But, like, the milk is probably from a dairy not too far away.
Connecticut.
Well, probably not Connecticut, because...
Is that too far?
Not as the crow flies, but I think you'd have, like... I don't think they ship goods across the Sound on the ferry. I don't think there's a cargo ferry.
It's a quick upshot on the highway. You could be in Hartford in 2 hours.
But not I'm thinking about Long Island. I didn't say that part out loud. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe in New York City, but there's probably some incentive that, like, New York State dairy farmers have the... I don't know how it works. They just pointed out that your dairy probably comes from a local source.
But not here.
But not here, because we buy our milk from Australia and Germany.
It's not coming across the Yangtze.
Yeah, I think there's definitely locally produced milk.
Yeah. Possibly
I
goats.
think.
Maybe not cows, though.
Well, you
When was
can't
the
buy
last time you
goats.
saw a cow?
You can't buy goat's milk in the grocery store, though. I don't think the Chinese... Do the Chinese drink goat's milk? Leave a comment and let us know what you think.
Goat news. No, I haven't seen a cow. Like, just wandering.
I guess I haven't either.
Wandering cow.
But we've eaten beef. We saw cows. I was gonna say in Yunnan, but those were yaks.
Luzhou cow. Maybe not a thing.
But they eat beef.
Yeah, but it's imported a lot of times. That's why it's always, like, kind of rubber pucks.
Well, like, steak, they always say, is, like, the good expensive steak is usually Australian beef. But the, like, local cuisine uses beef. Not as much. Pork is definitely...
It's mostly pork. I've seen a lot of pigs. But,
like, beef is a natural part of any diet. I mean, it's not an import always. But cow and chicken is definitely more of a staple.
You ever milk a chicken?
Ew.
I can't say I've seen a cow. We've been out in the countrysides.
I feel like No, maybe I'm thinking of other...
Even, like, on, like, long trips
animals
across the countryside, like out to Chengdu or whatnot. We see fields, and there's no cows in them.
This is... Now I gotta find out if there's cows.
Cow news!
But I think... I mean, I feel like if there was a dairy farm in China, it would be like a factory situation that...
Not free range.
They're not. I don't think they have free range cows here. They do. Small livestock is pretty free range. We've seen it with our own eyes. But I think if there was like a countrywide.
Yeah, like our neighbors can have chickens.
But like there's local brand milk. We just don't buy it because it doesn't taste as good.
Is there? Like local? Like Luzhou milk?
No, not Luzhou milk, but I mean local China milk. We don't have to buy Australian
Luzhou
milk.
Milk is wine. Sweet Luzhou milk.
The babies are all passed out.
A little thimble and it's bedtime.
No, I'm just saying we could buy Chinese brand milk, but we choose to buy Australian milk because we like the taste better. But it's probably terrible.
We get a couple different brands, right?
For the environment. Of import milk?
New Zealand, maybe?
Yeah. We have, but this is where I roundabout going with this, is, when there is cheese, it's still all kind of bland. Like, even when we go to Chengdu and get, like, the import
It's not very
cheeses.
creamy, and there's not a lot of salt.
Yeah. And
It's weird
I
being
think...
so close to the salt mines.
I wonder if there's just... I mean, fresh local cheese is probably the best cheese tastes. And so we're probably eating cheeses that get here with... Because no one...
Traveling cheese?
No one is locally making cheese except for, like... There are ethnic minorities that have had, like, yacked cheese as part of their diet for centuries, but that's not, like, the mainstream. They don't...
I thought you were going to say us foreigners. Has Matthew made cheese recently?
I'll ask him, but I think no.
Nathan used to make cheese, didn't he?
Jump on the same stream